Hey everybody, we're going to begin here in just a minute. So let's get started here. Okay. And let's begin. So as always, just throw out names and I'm just going to start. There's a ton to go over today. There's just an absolute ton to review. Okay. So let's just jump right into it here. Good morning. So let's just get right into it here, and just so we're on the same page. In regards to Hood, you know what they did is it's just fascinating to me how these rules just don't apply to anybody anymore. You know, we'll just amend it. So they come out with one statement and then they just amend another statement. It's just baffling to me. What is the point of the SEC? It's just crazy. Look, see these levels. I mean, this is really what you're watching, because you really can't look at this from any other standpoint. I mean, you really just comes all the way to here, doesn't it? It actually comes all the way to back here. So if you come across that line, 65, 66, right? See it? So you got to get through that, and you are. If you get through this, you're probably heading to here to start, right? You're going to have to use the pre-market data with it, because that's when the news came out. So you could see how it affected the market off the open, right? So you're going to have to use that data, but I'd watch this level. This seems to be a sticking point around here. And then you got to get back to 70 and then push from there. But this might be an uphill battle today. I don't know how who's going to buy this with that hanging over its head. I think it's going to be a little harder. It makes them look ridiculous. It's ridiculous, Brandon. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. They can do whatever they want, and they just dump stock on retail again. I mean, it's just crazy. So you think you understand something, and then they just come out and change the rules again. It's just nuts. So Square, hey Jared. So in regards to Square, I mean, let's get rid of this pre-market. So, right, you have your run up on the news, which was great, and you rejected it. And ever since then, you've been basing. Now, I don't know that the move's over, but what gets me about it is I'm halfway on this bar, right? So being halfway on the bar from like up here to here, that's not really where I want to be. You know, what you are doing is you are holding this, okay, on Square. And they want to be a behemoth. You know, they want to go after PayPal, it seems like. Whether or not they're going to be able to, I don't know. So you have that level there, right? And then you have another one if you really get super technical right here. But to me, it's got to start holding. Like right now, I just have a one-day wonder. So I have to start holding, or I have to move on. That's how I feel about it. But I mean, the report was excellent. BT and pins. So BT, I really like. I really like this. And I think it finally broke out yesterday. Getting above this level and staying above this level is everything you want to see. And this is really very interesting, Marty, because look, and I'm just going to throw this out there for a minute. Okay. So, you know, I'm reading filings last night. 9% or 7.8% of this company was bought by Fidelity. Like, I don't know what they're thinking, but it doesn't matter what they're thinking. They bought the stock. So they must see something that they want to own longer term in this, which means that maybe they think there's a barrier of entry coming. I'm not sure, but that could really benefit. I'm sorry. Let's go here, BTBT. That could really benefit BTBT. And this might be a much longer term move now. up to this level, to this 19 level. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't mean a big hurry to get out of that. That's building. So pins, did what it needed to do and then broke out and then went to the 1688 level and then just rejected. So it's pretty clear what we're watching, right? I actually had a position in it yesterday. I bought at the close this day and I bought it here. And then it came up, rejected, and I just broke even on it. But I think that you have to see it get through this and close that level. And until that happens, it's not something I would go near. Tesla and space. So for me, look, here's Tesla. Okay, let's get into Tesla. Tesla to me looks like it's forming a flag above this breakout, above this level. So essentially what we've done is take this level and flip it to here, right? So resistance became support. Okay, that's what you want to say. Now, what that leads to today, I don't know. This is leading to me that we keep stepping up lower lows. That's very interesting. So it's definitely, to me, worth watching those lower lows and seeing how we do. There's no question about it. I think that this could, obviously, if we break through this level, you should come to here just to start 780, right? That should be your first start. So that's definitely one to consider. Now, let's just keep going here. Space. Let's go through space here. So space is just sitting at the 200 day. There's nothing to do here. Absolutely nothing. I have these fib levels in from before and I just left them there. And you can see it's doing exactly, right? Boom. And you can see if you know how to draw these right, it's funny how they lay. But yeah, I mean, until you can get through this, there's really no reason to go near it. None. Just avoid. It's got to do something, and I don't know what that something is yet. So I would avoid space until it does that. ZI. So ZI had a great day, and then they came out and did a secondary, right? So that's pretty much like a perfect trade. And I was so busy with the VAX stocks yesterday that I didn't focus on it. But this was a great trade because they did a secondary and they priced it down here, right? So then it gaps open, goes to that level, roughly $1 off of where they priced the secondary, and then just rips. So, I mean, that basically tells you that it's probably over as far as coming down on that news. So if you're going to play this, what you're going to have to look for is fairly simple. Right? You're going to have to look for a break above this, and then you're going to have to start watching to make sure it closes above that open, which a lot of people, it has not closed above that open yet, which is where people bought it on the earnings before the secondary was announced. And then you're going to have to worry about that level. But I would expect this to work itself up. I would expect this to continue to work itself up. It looks pretty good to me. Hey, good morning, Amran. Jin, I really like the name. I really like the name. I mean, just, to throw out the caveat, I have a position in it. This was huge, this break. The breaking the 41.41, this was just absolutely enormous. And look at it, right? I mean, it just looks great. I think this could absolutely continue. I'd love for it to base before it does that and then push higher. I don't know if we're going to get that chance or it's just going to rip again. So we're going to have to say, but this was an excellent report. Absolutely excellent. And you see a ton of volume coming in based upon that. Right now, if you look at this volume, you want to see that. I know these look the same, but one test that you can always do just to see the magnitude of the move is throw in a relative volume. Okay. So even though you had the same volume here, right? That volume registered at 3. Okay. This registered at 6. So you basically have double the relative volume and a level of relative volume that you've never seen before, right? So that's something to consider, and it's definitely a factor to be looking at. I think this has a lot of room to go. I'd like to see it consolidate before going higher, but it's definitely something that's on my short list, and I have a position in it, as I stated already, but I think it can go much higher. In regards to the SPY, and let's just go through what you're talking about here. And let's look at the RSI and let's talk about it for a minute, right? So let me get rid of this text and everybody can see that this is the SPY here. And then what we're going to do is get rid of volume so that we can just focus on this for those that are on their mobiles. Make it a little clearer. You don't have everything congested. So what you're referring to is this, right? So, okay. I'm not overly concerned about it yet for a couple reasons. One, and this is a nuance, but okay. This is somewhat contradictory to this, okay, because I'm still trending up, right? I'm still in an uptrend from here, okay? So it's still somewhat contradictory to this. That's the first thing, right? The second is I'm just basing. So as I'm basing, you have to kind of look at these spots and go, okay, did I hit here? Yep. Did this hit there? Yep. Okay. Did this hit here? Yep. So you're seeing it walk down, but it's minuscule. So I'm aware of it. Usually what it does, if it does this, right, you see like here, does it, and then bam, it breaks this lower channel. And this is really what you want to see. Okay. So I'll draw from here. This is really what you want to watch to see if it's going to break, right? See this here? How then boom, then you go up and then you break it. Okay. See how you broke it this day? That's really what you're looking for. So if this comes down, that's not going to be too much of a concern. If I break this line, you have a concern. Very similar to what you saw here, right? Or here, right? See that line? And then you break it. So that's what would concern me. Is it great? No, it's not, but it's still trending up. And it's still, if you look at this spot over here versus here, you're still higher. But I understand what you're looking at. I get it. And I'm not telling you not to pay attention to it. Pay attention to it. Crisp. Let's just go here. Hold on. Let me do Crisp real quick. So, okay. 126.22. So we're starting to see these stocks move again. My concern here is the following. You're buying a stock below the 8, the 21, and the 200 day. Do you really want to do that? Do you really want to be buying a stock that's below all those? My answer is no, I don't. That's why I'm not going near it. Maybe if I break this little wick and I start moving higher, but I'm willing to pay up at 132, 133 for a stock if I think it can move. You have a major downtrend and you're trying to pick a bottom right now. Okay, whether I use this, you're in a downtrend, right? I'm going to use this. So why am I in a hurry here? So I understand what you're looking at. You're looking at this, right? See this RSI and how it's curling up. To me, I love the company, but this chart's got to get a lot better than it looks right now for Crisp. Net, we're starting to see some of these companies like Net. I think D-Dog came out with earnings crushed. Net's at this trend line, right? I'm going to just leave the RSI in so people can get used to it. But you see this? Look at this. Like I'm just riding that trend line. I'm not going near it. Flip that trend line and you have my attention. And I'm certainly not buying this before earnings, even though earnings can be stellar, right? I mean, earnings could be absolutely stellar and really run the company up. But, other than that, it's not something I'm going to look at. Let me go to, bear with me 1 second here. Recently viewed. So I can just start seeing some of the other names as they move during the day. But I'm just not getting in front of this. Like I believe it was this one. I have to go through all my notes. But I believe D-Dog came out and crushed. Yeah, they crushed. They broke out. I mean, you're going to see people buy Net today based upon that going, well, D-Dog did this. Net's going to crush. And I understand that logic. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not getting involved like that. And this is pretty simple to watch the trade. And again, this one came out with earnings. So if you're looking to trade one, this is one to trade. I haven't listened to the conference call or anything yet, but you broke out, you ripped on the news, and then you just went straight up. And now you're forming a flag up top. I mean, that's a pretty clear sign you're probably going higher, right? So just consider that. Um, Starbucks. So let's go take a look here and see what's going on. So your 8 and your 21 are breaking down, right? Let's get rid of these events because we already had earnings. Here's your 8 and your 21. They're breaking down. This is breaking down, right? So now I have this little bear flag right under what? Now it's resistance, right? Do I really want to be involved in that? Probably not. I probably don't want to be involved in that. So that's something that we're going to just have to sit, watch, and wait. It's not something I want to do. Not something I want to be involved with. I'd want to wait. I mean, you should be able to see why. I'm below this resistance line. I'm below the 8 and the 21 pointing down. You know, what you're also seeing, you know, this is interesting because as much as it has nothing to do with social media stocks, you know, you're seeing changes in people's behaviors where they were going and staying on the computer all the time. People are going outside now. You're seeing it in the stocks that blow up today. Like no one's asking about Roku, Fiverr, Etsy. You know, people were going to Starbucks left and right during the lockdown because they didn't have a choice. Maybe that's going to stop now. Maybe they're going to start going more locally. I don't know, but this was not a great earnings report from them. So TTD is setting up. Yeah, I think it is setting up too. You're just going to have to buy it ahead of earnings, and that's going to be the problem with it. It's not something that I'm going to do. I've been here before. It's not how I trade. There's a little negative divergence on the RSI here. That's not great, but this is a huge flag, and it looks great. And you've seen how it just keeps trying this 86 level. Can't break it. Maybe today's the day. Maybe today's the day that it does do it. In regards to Caterpillar, so I wouldn't go near this with a 10-foot pole. Maybe you get some support here, but look, the market is telling you that the economy is going to slow down. If you look at the way that things are trading right now, it's telling you that the economy, the global economy is slowing down. You're right. It's usually a mechanism, right? Usually 18 months out, you know, these things start moving before it gets better. And that's what you're saying. Now the rotation might be quicker, but I mean, that's what I keep saying about like IWM. People keep looking at it, but this looks awful. So I would avoid CAT and I'd avoid the industrials until this figures itself out because we're just not there yet. SOXL. So I like SOXL, just a caveat. I have a position in it and it's in our newsletter. So, you know, I think it looks excellent. I think it's going a lot higher. And I think it's going a lot higher, like not a little bit. When we finally break out of this base that you've been in since January, this is going to go. And you can see the base from here, right? So see that base from 28 to 44. Let's just call it 16 points. You break out of 48, right? It kind of gives you an idea, 65, 70. There's no reason why this couldn't move like that. So this is really setting up for a huge move. Here's the SOX. I mean, you know, I was thinking about this morning how overweighted I'm getting in semiconductors right now because the charts are just really shaping up, looking perfect. So I like the space a lot. mRNA. So mRNA. So here you are with mRNA, and look, we just had a monster run, right? Now you're at 405. It's starting to get better as the day's setting up. We're going to have to see how it opens, and we're going to have to see how it trades. I think trying to jump in front of this right now without seeing it open, I think is nuts because it's had such a huge move. Now, let's go to this. So let's get rid of these indicators. Okay, so this is what's happened, right? This is last night. Then we come out with earnings, right? And now let's look at what's going on with the earnings. Okay. So you come out and then earnings hit. What time they hit? Right here, 7 o'clock. You've never gotten above that bar since earnings. So since that was announced, right? So 420, you hit it and you rejected. So this is your range for the day so far until you hear otherwise, until you develop another range. That's your range for the day, 420 to 390. Right? It's been identified. It's there. We're seeing it. We've tested it twice. So I'm not getting involved with this until I start testing these ranges, seeing a VWAP develop, and some patterns develop. And then my sense would be to be on the long side of it, but we're going to have to see how it opens. So I'd be on the long side of all those stocks, but we really need to see how it opens and go from there. It could use a rest. UTHR. I mean, a rest isn't going to kill it. So UTHR, so United Therapeutics, let's just keep going through this. Okay. You're breaking out here and you're breaking out here, right? So you got to get through that 212. And this looks like earnings hit today. Is that what this is? So yeah, I mean, it looks to me like you got to get through 212. Getting through that gets you in this. I don't know. I didn't read the report. I don't know enough about it. I'm just talking about technicals. But you have a trend line right here that's just a monster if you get through this. And it looks like it's doing exceptional. So, but you got to get through that. If we put the indicators in, they're going to look great. Yeah, I mean, they just look amazing. Not really much to say there. Looks awesome. Low. Yeah, I mean, look, this whole space got hit because of lumber prices. I would be very cautious here. I'd be really cautious here. If the economy slows down and lumber prices go up, they have an issue. This is NAIL. This is the Home Builders Supply. That looks a little bit better than what you're seeing going on here, right? So this is kind of struggling. Home Depot. You just look at this whole space. To me, this looks like it's rolling and that it's going to continue to roll. So you're really going to have to see how that plays out. You're going to have to really see how that plays out. So I wouldn't be buying that. That's for sure. So let's just keep going here. ZIM, Tesla, I did. I'll do ZIM. So ZIM, I like a lot. And the 8 and the 21 are crossing. I'm above the 40. It completely is blowing off the UPS news. I'm going right to the 42. And what is the 42? As we all know, that's where the institutions step up to buy, right? What are they doing? And they're sure not buying yet. So we just have to wait and watch and see it clear that. And I have this other level. I mean, here's my thought on this trade. I have no position in this right now. If I get through 43.08, you have my attention, and I'll show you why. So that would get me to flip, right? Completely flip this point of control, gets me through this level. And then look how the volume just drops off on an incremental basis as this goes to a cliff. That is my intention. So 43.08 is really what I'm looking at for that stock. And then if it gets through there, I could look at it. Roku, Fubu, Etsy. Well, I mean, let's just run through them. Yeah, I mean, you really look, you can try to buy this today. To me, this is completely broken. If we get through this data, you've completely broken down today. And what I would be cautious about in buying it is you need to hold the low of the pre-market, which is right here. If you break that low, right, see where it happens to sit right on this wick line. So if you break that low, you're going to here. You're going to 355. To me, this actually looks like it might rally and then kind of roll over. So you're going to have to watch and see, but I'm certainly not buying it. You can't really be buying these names as they're coming out and telling you that growth is slowing because you just don't know where next quarter is. Like we have no idea what next quarter is going to be. It's kind of like that with pins. I thought the move on pins was grossly overdone in comparison to this. From 420 to 390, you're looking at a 10% move. Pins was a 25% drop. To me, it just was staggering, that move. So that's why I played that one. In regards to Fubu, I'm assuming you're talking about this one. So I know a lot of people are playing this ahead of earnings. I'm not playing this ahead of earnings. I've an 8 rolling, I have a 21 rolling. I have the 50 crossing the 21 to the downside. I have zero. I can't express how little interest I have in playing this. Etsy just completely blew up. Same story. You came out with earnings. The earnings were not in line, right? You can see the drop off here in the numbers. And you just came in, and now I'm below the 200-day, and I think that that's going to continue. I I think AMC's toast. Yeah, I think everyone's getting at. I mean, basically, the trade that these guys are doing, which is kind of interesting, is they're doing the I'm selling my AMC, right? I'm selling my GME, right? That's what they're doing. They're selling these names and they're saying let's all buy this one now, right? And they're all buying Hood. And what's Hood doing to them? Hood's doing the same exact thing that AMC did to them, just selling stock, selling billions and billions of dollars worth of stock, and retail's buying it and gobbling it up. So, it's insanity to me. But that's what you're saying. So, you can actually, you want to see AMC go up, watch Hood go down. And then you'll see AMC go up because it means that they're rotating back in. It's all they're doing is they're just rotating back into a couple stocks. So it's kind of crazy. You're welcome, Defy. MU I like. MU I like a lot. And this is a perfect, here's the thing about MU, and I'm watching that 8309 level. Like, I just get me above that and I'd have interest. It's just perfect MU stuff. Like here, hold on. And did that line move? But we can actually draw right here. So see how this line, right? You're testing here, open here, gapped. But if I get through that level, I have a ton of interest. Now, I'm above all my moving averages. I really think, and they're all pointing up. I'm very comfortable with this name here. I think we could go a lot higher. I think you can come back to this level. There's no way the SOX is going to go up and not drag this along with it. The chances of that happening are very, very slim. But I would need 8309 for that to happen. Hey, Brian. So, yep. Uther beat. Yeah. I mean, if that's going to go. So let's just get into some of these because I'm going to have to, let's just get into this. So FLGT, first and foremost, obviously, just the caveat, I have a position in this. Broke out, looks great. 105, when I flip that, that's all I needed to see. I think you're going to pin to 122. Now, I have an issue coming up because I have earnings August 9th. So if I don't get that push, you're going to have to make a decision whether or not you stay in it for earnings or don't. The last two earnings dates, it did fine, but we don't know that we're not going to get one of these where it doesn't do fine. We just don't know. So you have that risk, right? That's a risk. And so you have to associate that risk. But I like that. In regards to BNTX, look, we're coming out with earnings. On top of coming out with earnings, I have no idea how we're going to digest the what do you call it? The mRNA news. I just don't know yet. I have to see off the open. To me, the rotation is pretty clear today. They're selling the social media names all except Melly, and they're buying semiconductors and they're selling VAX stocks. I mean, that's the trade today so far. So, try not to read too much into it and maybe stick with the trend a little bit if you're short term. So, but BNTX, I'm not stepping in front of that train to add to it here. I mean, I don't know if you follow the newsletter or not. We've been in the stock a while. One of the top 10 videos had it back at 125, I think, to 175. So, that was a while ago, but I've been following this thing forever and it's just done exceptionally well. So let's just keep going. That's funny. Yeah, I think I do. That is funny. No one was asking. It's kind of interesting. But pins, I do think it'll fill the gap. I think that's an insane sell-off, right? Like, I'm not saying that the earnings were great. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Kulicke & Soffa, semiconductors. It's exactly what I'm talking about, right? Look at this. Okay, we're breaking out on good earnings. It could keep going. For me, I have to start watching these levels though, right? I have to watch this level. I have to watch this level, right? So you got to keep that in mind. You have to totally keep that in mind. That they're the levels that I see that could be an issue with 100%. But I like the name. You're welcome. Grub and Crocs. Yeah, let's do Grub and Crocs. So obviously this isn't good, right? I'm not really sure what happened to this, to be honest with you. Was that an earnings call or something? Something happened. Reverse split. Something happened. There's not really a whole heck of a lot to do with this. I mean, there's not. I would not have any interest in this until I got above that level, 19. Crocs. Someone's buying Crocs, right? I mean, every day. It's crazy. Here's the first level that it broke out and just kept going. Now look at it. I mean, it's staggering. I don't know. Again, I don't know who's buying Crocs, but when you look at it a year and a half ago, you were at what? $8. I mean, you've got to be, you're up 20 times on your money in Crocs. I mean, it's crazy, but it looks great. I mean, there's not really much more to say about it. Usually when it breaks out like this, it consolidates and then breaks out again. I mean, that's just been its pattern, right? Breakout, consolidate, breakout, consolidate, breaks out, right? Consolidates, goes. I mean, that's its pattern. So just keep that in mind. When it got through 137, now you're at 142. Just keeps on going. Not much more to say. Yeah, it's not good. That's not good. All right, I got to go. I got to get ready for the day. Everyone, as always, you know how to reach me. Twitter, the community, email. All right. Have a great day, everyone.